About a week ago today, I made the decision to finally do what I've been wanting to do for like a good 3 years, which is delete the Snapchat app. I've been wanting to do this for so long because I know how toxic that app is and how much time of it takes of my day. And today I'm just going to outline the basic reasons why I did so, and maybe it can influence you guys to make a similar decision. So pretty much I've had Snapchat for I think just over 3 years now, which is kind of insane. That's a long time. And my average screen time on Snapchat per day was 3+ hours. So 3 hours out of the 12 hours, no, like 15 hours I'm awake are just gone like that. Like, isn't that kind of crazy when you think of it? It's kind of nuts. And to be honest, I probably spend a similar amount of time on YouTube or Netflix, but if you go back to the root cause of spending time on this app, what's the actual point? Like 98% of the time, you're sending a random picture of your forehead of the wall of the ceiling to someone else, and it just doesn't make sense. You just do it because everyone else is doing it. There's no actual reason. Like, if no one else used this app, you wouldn't either. If you think about it that way, why would you use it in the first place? It just doesn't make sense. So that's basically saying the same thing as I'm going to go on iMessage right now and send you a picture of half of my forehead and a wall with no context. You guys would think it's stupid, right? But when that happens on Snapchat, no one really thinks anything of it, and it's just, oh, yeah, that's just what we do. Not even considering all these other things that I'm going to say, some actually being like health and science based. That should be enough of a reason that you should delete this app. Like, just hearing that, think of that again. It's just absolutely pointless. And also, the concept of streaks. Just like, what is that? Why do I care so much about keeping this little number in a corner with an hourglass? It just doesn't make sense. It's a number on a screen. People lose a streak with someone and they rage and they get really mad at them. But like, who cares? It's literally a number on a screen that means absolutely nothing. And trust me, one day you're going to delete this app, whether it's now or in 10 years, and you'll be like, what's the point? I have my 1,400 day streak. It's just dumb. No point of it. It's not going to get you anything. No one's going to give you an award for having the longest streak. It's no. Now I want to talk to you just about something that's actually pretty science-based. Crazy. It all goes into this little app that you think is very harmless. When you receive that Snapchat notification, your brain is getting a dopamine rush. And dopamine is like a chemical that's in your brain. Not a bad chemical, just a chemical in your brain that sort of stimulates it in a way to feel excitement. And basically what that does is when you receive this notification on your phone, you get a dopamine rush because you're like, oh my gosh. The same kind of sensation can happen when you scroll on Instagram, when you do anything that's exciting. When you find a $20 bill on the ground is like the most known example of that rush you feel. You're like, oh my gosh, yes, finally. And then you get this rush when you go on the app, right? You open the Snapchat and it's just a picture of someone's wall. And basically what your mind is getting is it's getting really excited and it's giving you a false sense of social interaction. When your brain realizes that this is just another pointless picture, it actually gets sad. And that's when the false sense of social interaction comes in, because you're not actually interacting with anyone. You're not actually doing anything. You're just receiving these pointless pictures. And when you open it, you're just like, oh, another one of these. What's the point even? Even if it's a face picture, who cares? It's just a picture of someone's face that you could look up on Instagram if you wanted to see them. So by doing this, this is the same thing that any social media causes, and I can make a video more further in depth and do some more research on this, but basically just from my understanding is what happens is you get on a high. So for example, it's not like a high like you were on like alcohol, but like for example, you get a little bit of a high. You don't even realize it because you're so used to this at this point. You go on Snapchat, you're bored in class, you go on Snapchat. You get this little sense of engagement and interaction with other people, but it's actually nothing. It's actually not there. It's not substantial. So you become sad afterwards when you go off. You go on, you get this high, and it creates these high and low valleys. So that also goes back to creating greater mood swings. And there's tons of research on this. I'll put some links in the description to like articles that talk about this more further in depth. But I'm not a scientist, but this is just pretty simple when you think of it this way. You all probably already know it, but this app is extremely addictive. It is so distracting to whatever you're doing because you feel this constant social pressure to be responding to Snapchats. Like if you leave someone on delivered or you leave them on read, that's not cool. They'll get mad at you. Like if I was to leave someone on my best friends list on delivered for 20 hours and not go on the app, they would get mad at me. They'd be like, why didn't you snap me? Why didn't you snap me? We're about to lose our streak, right? But that's just like why? It's this unnecessary social pressure that's just there for absolutely no reason. Why can't you leave someone on read? You do it on text messages all the time or on Instagram DMs. It's not a bad thing to leave someone on read if you're not constantly snapping back to them, because because you have nothing to snap them other than a wall picture, which then cycles you into this pointless rabbit hole of sending pictures that mean absolutely nothing. But also, quitting Snapchat has helped me become more present with what I'm doing and have more like mental clarity towards what I'm doing, because it's just less brain distractions, less notifications, less things that are absolutely irrelevant going on my phone. My basic concept, like what I posted when I quit, was, if you want to talk to me, text me. I'm not deleting the iMessages app off my phone. Like, go ahead, text me, Instagram, DM me, do whatever you want. Just Snapchat has this sort of infrastructure of you always need to be on and you always need to be responding, which I don't really like, and I think can become really toxic if you take it that way. Something I've really noticed is that I'm getting bored a lot more of the time now. So I'll be in class, it'll be after class or whenever, and I go and I'll just sit down and it'll be like, what do? I'll start Snap on my phone, nothing will come up, and I'll be like, oh yeah. So I noticed that a lot of my time, I don't even notice when I'm going on Snapchat. I do it subconsciously now and I'm not noticing it, which is really bad. And that's what was sort of the last straw for me, is like, I'm done with this. I can't keep up with this anymore. So that was sort of what pushed me to do this decision as well. But also I find now that I have a lot of free time, and still my mind is in a stage where like I'm not doing anything in this free time because I don't know what to do with it yet, but it's there. And eventually I'm sort of working towards having a list of things that I've always had this list of things, but like more having a list of things to do that are really short tasks that I can just do, or something to fill the time. For example, go read, right? Or do something that's going to benefit me later on that I can do just to fill the time instead of going on Snap. One more thing I noticed is that my Instagram time has gone up a lot, which is not good, but I can't delete Instagram because I do have multiple pages that I run on there that are for work and I do get paid for, so I can't really mess over there. But what I think I'll do at one point is do like a cleanse from Instagram where I can't go on my personal account and just scroll through things. I'll still do my accounts that I do social media management for, but I won't actually, go through posts and stories on other people's pages for no reason. What I've decided to do now is whenever I'm bored, I just get out and do something. It's just a change of scenery. Go outside, go for a walk, go hang out with friends, and sort of these 3 hours a day, imagine how you could spend those developing your relationships with your friends and just making yourself a better person, reading a book, all these things you could do. 3 hours a day. Let's do that for a second. Let's do the math. So if we do just say we're doing 3 hours a day times 365, that is 1,000 hours a year times 3. So that's that's over 3,000 hours a year. Imagine the great things you could do with 3,000 hours a year that I've lost over the last 3 years. So that's basically all I have to say. I'm going to close on that statement for this segment of the video, but really 3,000 hours. Think of what you can do with 3,000 hours. That is absolutely insane. So what I've done is I've gone out, I've hung out with friends. So on the first day, what I did is I went with my friend Tyler. We drove down to Canada's Wonderland and we flew our drones. We practiced flying drones. We saw some cool things, our favorite roller coasters that we haven't seen in a while. So I'm going to cut to some of that footage now. We also almost got killed by birds. Our drones almost got killed by birds. So I'm going to cut to that footage. But my final statement, delete Snapchat. Comment down below what you guys think and go and delete Snapchat, and enjoy the next part of the video.